Tim Pool. Have you heard of him? He's one of the most successful YouTubers of all time. I want to share with you a short clip from one of his recent broadcasts. In it, he looks at why Democrats are worried President Biden will stumble into World War III. Over the weekend, Pool notes that there's a video of a drone attack on Moscow.
And a lot of people are suggesting World War III, notably Biden voters. I love this story from Deadline. Oliver Stone regrets voting for Biden, fears he might start World War III. Might? Yeah, fair point, might. We don't know that World War III is starting. Some think it already has. There have been prominent personalities, I believe even the Pope, who have said that World War III has begun. You know, instantly, whenever we bring up subjects like this, there's a group of people who will tweet and say, it'll never happen. Chance favors the prepared. And failure to plan is planning for failure. In the event war does happen, what's your plan? I mean, war is happening. And Biden has called in the reserves, not just actual reserve, but I forgot what it's called, selected reserves and ready reserves. This means that people are being recalled to active duty and they're being sent to Europe because we may be about to enter a very serious war. The nuclear weapons facility in Belarus are nearing completion, and people are concerned that this could escalate into a very dark place. I think it was a year or two ago. We saw in New York City, they ran this hilarious ad about what to do in the event of a nuclear strike. And everyone's like, why are you showing us this? Guys, because they're concerned about a nuclear strike. You know, call it whatever you want. But the intelligence agencies and government have probably had some inclination that something like this could happen for a while now. When it finally meets the public sphere, it's way afterwards. So with the buildup of troops on the Ukrainian border, I didn't think anything was going to happen. I was wrong. A lot of people thought nothing would happen. They were wrong. And while Trump was president, nothing was happening. But it seems like the intelligence agencies were preparing for something. Now here we go. Dumping tons of money into Europe for an escalating war that Russia views as against them and NATO. That in the West, they lie and they're just like, it's not really a war. We're not involved. It's not really our war. It's Ukraine fighting. Meanwhile, you've got veterans and volunteers. Sure. United States citizens are on the ground fighting. U.S. Special Forces are in the country. We're funding their weapons. We're providing the intelligence. Europe's deeply involved. Of course, this is, if it doesn't stop now, World War III.
Now, if you aren't familiar with Tim Pool, he's a former journalist, but he's hard to pin down politically. Pool tends to reject a left-right political framework for both self-description and in other contexts, instead preferring to divide the public into those who are, quote, discerning and skeptical regarding legacy media, and those who are undiscerning and uninitiated. Now, the question Pool asks has no political bias. He simply is pointing out that every one of us needs to be prepared for another world war. As the mother of a 20-year-old son, this is not something I consider lightly. I am worried that President Biden could stumble into World War III. What do you think? Do you think the world is a safer place now or when President Trump was in office? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you like what we're doing here at Americans for Limited Government, please like and share this video and follow us on YouTube and Rumble. Now, elections don't tend to hinge on international affairs, as voters are more frequently focused on pocketbook issues such as the economy, unemployment, and domestic issues largely. But I think if the question of World War III is brought up in 2024, many Americans would take a more sober look at re-electing Joe Biden. Given his obvious mental and physical deterioration, it's a frightening thought to think that he is our commander-in-chief.